I used to think staying calm meant being passive, like you were just accepting whatever life threw at you. But I was wrong. The calm ones aren't weak, they're strategic. They don't react faster, they respond smarter. That's how they win quietly. Before we start, hit like, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe to Simple Stroke Official. Because here, we don't chase loud success. We learn the quiet patterns that make real progress inevitable no matter how chaotic life around us gets. I first noticed this in stressful workplaces. The loudest ones always panic during deadlines, pointing fingers, rushing decisions. But the calm ones? They'd pause, think, act slowly, and somehow always delivered better results. Calm is a silent competitive advantage. See, calm people aren't emotionless. They just delay reaction long enough to make clarity arrive first. While everyone else drowns in noise, they breathe, observe, and move with purpose. That's why their choices seem lucky, they're just less rushed. I started testing it myself. Every time I felt triggered, I'd pause, count 3 breaths before responding. At first, it felt unnatural, but soon something shifted. I began making fewer mistakes. Clarity, it turns out, lives in the pause. Being calm doesn't mean you care less. It means you conserve energy for what actually matters. When you stop fighting everything, you start directing your power. That focus compounds in money, relationships, and mindset. Calmness scales faster than panic. It's like in finance. Emotional investors lose more because they react too soon. Calm investors win because they trust the process. The same applies to life. Patience is compound interest for your decisions. It multiplies wisdom over time. Calm people play long games. They don't crave immediate validation. They build quietly while others perform loudly. And when the noise fades, they're still standing. Not because they're lucky, but because they built their foundations while everyone else was distracted. I remember one moment clearly. I lost a big opportunity because someone lied about me. My first instinct was to defend myself instantly, but I waited. A week later, the truth surfaced on its own. My silence ended up being protection. That's the thing about staying calm. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing battles worth fighting. When you stop reacting to every storm, you realize most storms pass on their own. You don't need to prove peace, you embody it. I started applying calm thinking to my goals. Instead of chasing 20 things, I picked 3 that truly mattered. The noise dropped and focus grew. Calm isn't laziness, it's clarity filtered through discipline. Calm people don't rush success. They build systems that make success inevitable. While others burn out sprinting, they conserve energy for endurance. Because real wins come to those who don't panic halfway through progress. The more I practiced stillness, the more I noticed my anxiety fading. I wasn't reacting to small inconveniences anymore. I started thinking, will this matter in 5 years? 90% of the time, the answer was no. That question saved my peace. Calmness is underrated because it's invisible. You can't post it online, can't flex it in a meeting. But it changes everything beneath the surface, like deep roots that hold the tree when storms come. Here's the paradox. Calm people often look slow, but they move smarter. They take fewer steps, but each one counts. They don't waste effort fixing temporary feelings. That efficiency quietly compounds into mastery. I learned that calmness isn't genetic, it's trained. It's built through moments when you want to yell, but choose to breathe instead. Every act of restraint is a rep in your emotional gym. Over time, composure becomes muscle memory. One trick that helped me, slowing down before decisions. I stopped answering texts instantly, stopped reacting to comments immediately. That delay turned out to be my most powerful upgrade. Time itself became my filter for clarity. People often mistake calm for apathy, but real calm comes from deep trust. Trust in timing, in effort, in yourself. That trust frees you from chasing validation. You don't need to prove your worth when you already own your direction. Calmness gave me better judgment. In money, it meant holding when others sold. In relationships, it meant listening before reacting. In life, it meant choosing silence over drama. That small shift created huge differences in outcomes. At first, calm felt lonely. When everyone's rushing, stillness feels unnatural. But over time, that quiet becomes addictive, like a stable rhythm after noise. You start craving peace the way you once craved attention. Calmness doesn't kill ambition, it strengthens it. Because ambition without calm turns into anxiety. But calm ambition, that's power. It moves deliberately, not desperately. That's why calm people keep winning. They're grounded enough to outlast chaos. Once I realized this, I began protecting my calm like currency. I stopped engaging in pointless debates, doom-scrolling news, or competing with people who weren't even in my lane. Peace became my filter for relevance. The results were instant. I got more done by doing less. Because when you stop reacting, you gain time. Time is leverage. And calm people understand that the best advantage is focus unbroken by noise. The world rewards urgency, but peace rewards accuracy. And accuracy wins long-term. Calm people might look behind for now, but they're actually playing at a different pace, one that doesn't crash halfway. Calm is not inaction, it's precision. Every decision delayed until emotions cool is a decision twice as powerful. Every reaction avoided is energy saved for strategy. Calm multiplies your bandwidth for growth. I learned that calmness also protects relationships. You stop saying things you'll regret. You start hearing what's actually being said, not just what hurts your ego. That small gap between impulse and response saves love more often than apologies ever will. Calm doesn't mean emotionless, it means emotionally intelligent. It's knowing your triggers and refusing to hand them to someone else. That's what emotional maturity looks like, control without coldness. The more I valued calm, the more magnetic it became. People started trusting me more, opening up, asking for advice. Because calm energy feels safe, and in a world addicted to reaction, safety is rare currency. I realized calmness also improves creativity. When your brain isn't busy surviving chaos, it starts thriving in curiosity. That's when you think clearer, write better, solve faster. Calm doesn't slow ideas down, it sharpens them. Calm people aren't lucky, they're consistent. They practice emotional discipline daily, not because they never feel anger or fear, but because they refuse to let those emotions lead. That's how you build quiet confidence that doesn't depend on outside validation. When you stay calm, people underestimate you, and that's your secret weapon. While they're burning energy reacting, you're gathering data, observing patterns, planning your next move. By the time they realize, you're already 3 steps ahead. I started noticing calmness showing up everywhere. In athletes who focus under pressure, in leaders who pause before speaking, in investors who wait while others panic. Different fields, same skill. Patience that compounds into power. Calm is clarity during chaos. It's seeing the whole board while everyone else stares at one piece. That's why calm people make better decisions. They can zoom out when others zoom in too close. Perspective is invisible but priceless. The best leaders I've met all share that trait. They don't yell, they don't rush, they listen, absorb, and then act. Their calm gives permission for others to slow down too. It's contagious, the kind of influence that lasts longer than motivation. When I stopped rushing, my results actually improved. I learned that fast doesn't mean effective. It often means frantic. Calm execution, on the other hand, builds consistency. Because when you're not panicked, you can repeat excellence on demand. I also noticed calmness changes how people treat you. They sense stability, and that makes them trust you more. You stop needing to prove authority. Your composure does it for you. That's real leadership, earned through stillness, not noise. Calm doesn't mean you avoid intensity. It means you manage it. You still feel everything deeply. You just channel it into something useful. Energy redirected beats energy exploded every time. That's how calm turns emotion into momentum. In relationships, calmness became my anchor. Instead of reacting to tone, I started listening to intent. That small shift saved countless conversations from turning into arguments. The calm person isn't detached, they're simply tuned in to what matters most. I started treating calm as a daily practice, not a personality trait. It takes repetition, breathing, journaling, reflection, walking away before reacting. Over time, those small moments build a kind of unshakable presence no chaos can touch. The world doesn't train you to be calm. It trains you to compete, react, defend. That's why staying grounded feels rebellious. You're choosing stability in a culture built on stimulation. That's strength disguised as silence. Some people mistake calmness for weakness. They don't realize it takes far more strength to pause than to lash out. Anyone can yell. Few can stay composed when provoked. Calm is courage under emotional fire. With calmness, I noticed my time stretched. Tasks that used to feel urgent stopped controlling me. I got more done because I wasn't multitasking panic. That's the paradox. Slowing down makes you faster. Calm refines efficiency into mastery. Even in money, calm pays dividends. When markets dip, the calm investor holds, while panic sellers lose sleep. Same event, different reaction. Wealth grows in patience, not in panic. Calm creates room for strategy where others see crisis. I began to see calmness as luxury, not one you buy, but one you build. The ability to stay grounded under pressure is the ultimate form of independence, because calm can't be taken from you once you've trained it. Calmness also saved me from burnout. I stopped chasing urgency disguised as productivity. I realized that stillness isn't laziness, it's maintenance. You can't run forever without pausing to breathe. Calm keeps the engine steady. By month 6 of practicing calm, I felt transformation everywhere, in my voice, my pace, my thoughts. Life stopped feeling like a race, it became rhythm. That rhythm created a quiet kind of confidence that no achievement ever gave me before. Calm makes you harder to manipulate. When people can't provoke you, they lose control over you. That's emotional freedom. Not reacting doesn't mean you don't care. It means you decide what's worth your care. That freedom spills into every part of life. Work becomes smoother, relationships lighter, goals clearer. Because calm doesn't just solve problems, it prevents them. Prevention is the highest form of intelligence. I noticed how calm people age differently too. Less stress, less chaos, more control. Their faces soften instead of harden. Peace leaves marks too, just quieter ones. You can tell who's mastered their emotions by how rested they look. The calm ones don't brag about balance, they live it. They move slower but finish stronger. They talk less but influence more. Their lives prove what chaos denies, that quiet consistency outperforms loud intensity in every arena. Calmness also deepens gratitude. When your mind isn't racing, you notice beauty in ordinary moments. Morning light, good coffee, silence between songs. That awareness fills you more than any dopamine hit from rushing ever could. The more I practiced calm, the richer my life felt, not in money, but in meaning. Because peace adds depth that numbers can't measure. Calm doesn't just build success, it builds sustainability. Now, whenever something stressful happens, I ask, will this matter in 5 years? That single question resets everything. It shrinks fake urgency and expands perspective. Calm thinking is simply time travel for better choices. The older I get, the more I value calm people. Not because they have fewer problems, but because they face them differently. They don't drown in chaos, they learn to float. That's what long-term wisdom looks like. So, if you've been rushing, take this as a reminder. Calm isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's how you turn storms into momentum and setbacks into structure. The quiet ones aren't behind, they're just building better. When everyone else burns out chasing noise, the calm ones stay steady, collect lessons, and keep moving. That's why they always end up ahead. Not because life's easier for them, but because they mastered the art of breathing through it. If this message resonated with you, hit like, share it with someone who needs peace, and subscribe to Simple Stroke Official. Because staying calm isn't passive, it's power, and it's the kind that always lasts longer than chaos.